What is going on, guys? My name is Aaron and this is the Game Day Hour. Welcome back to another episode, and today we are doing episode 33, week 10 of our Fantasy Hour and Game Day picks. If you saw, I released an episode Tuesday regarding the presidential election, which was a little bit of a special episode. That was kind of a last minute thing that I wanted to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and in today's episode we're doing the same thing. We're going to be looking at fantasy football, how it went last week, and obviously the lineup and matchup this week, and then of course all the 13 games ranked from the worst to the best. And before we get into today's video, today that I'm recording is Tuesday, is election day, so obviously I can't tell you to go vote because this video is going to come out later, but we're going to see how the election goes. I'm probably just going to be watching that all night long, but yeah, I'm going to be very tired in the morning. Anyways, I hope you guys get ready to enjoy this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as we are narrowing in on 100 subscribers. Anyways, let's get started. Last week was a total embarrassment. I lost 54 to 103. My players did not come to play, and I left somebody on my starting lineup injured, Amari Cooper, but even if I were to switch him out with the best player on the bench, I still would have gotten 3 more points, which I would have had 57. So I just had a terrible game. My players did not show up at all. I hope it's a fluke because this week I'm hoping to get some players back, obviously. I mean, some of the biggest outliers, the Jets defense against me had 33, Dak Prescott had 17, Jahmyr Gibbs had 13, and Devon A-Chain had 23. Otherwise, his players didn't do so well either. It's fine. I'm 3-6, and now I'm in 8th place. I need to get back to it. I mean, I can get back in. It's not that far, but I need some players to start stepping up. And this week, I have a very, very tough opponent, so I really need my players to step up. This is the starting lineup I currently have going in. I'm starting CJ Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, Harrison Butker, and the Kansas City Chiefs defense. The reason why I'm going with this lineup, Stroud is the only one playing. Jordan Love is on bye. I hope that they start McCaffrey. If he has to sit out another week, I might be toast. I need him to get back in this week, and if he does, I'll have a very good likelihood of winning. And Jonathan Taylor needs to step up, of course. Amari Cooper, I hope he's healthy and ready to play. And then Brian Thomas Jr. and McConkey need to do better. Harrison Butker and Kansas City's defense I have no problem with. My opponent is currently starting Jared Goff, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Keami Fairbairn, and the Los Angeles Chargers defense. I'm projected to win, but that's a very tough lineup to deal with, so I just have to hope for the best. But this is the fantasy situation. I need to start winning. This is a big week for me, and I have a 55% chance of winning, so we'll see how things go. Anyways, that's going to do it for fantasy. Let's get to the game day picks. Last week, I went 13-2 in my game day picks. I did amazing, which brings my overall record up to 91-47. I'm more than halfway. This is a really good record to have, and I'm looking to get better this week. We only have 13 games we're going to be looking at. We already discussed how I think Thursday is going to go. So now we're going to jump in. I don't know. These last few weeks, I've been on fire. So I hope to continue that streak, but let's see. We're going to start with the 13 games, and of course, we're going to begin with the worst game of the week. I don't know why Europe has to be subjected to some of the worst games that the NFL has to offer, but this is the worst game of the week. In Germany, we're having a pair of 2-7 teams, the Giants and the Panthers. This matchup sucks. It's so boring. I knew that the Giants were going to be really bad this year, and Carolina was predictably going to be even worse. Now, Carolina did just come off of a win, so good for them. But still, this is not a good matchup for Europe to watch. Now, to be fair, Europe fans are really, really cool, especially in Germany. But come on, we got to have a better matchup for them. This is embarrassing. So, looking at this matchup, I am having a tough time wanting to pick the Giants to win because the Giants don't really have anything going. Their run game is very bleh. It's mostly their passing game with Malik Neighbors, but outside of that, they don't really have anything going. They just lost to Washington by a lot. But Carolina, despite beating New Orleans, is still a pretty sorry team. It was really tough, and this is the first time this year that I'm going with the New York Giants to win, and I have them winning 23-19. It's going to be a low-scoring, very boring affair, but Carolina has no identity, and the Giants, they actually have a pretty good defense. So I'll go with New York to hold Carolina 19 and score 23 themselves, and they'll improve to 3-7. The second worst game is between the 2-7 New England Patriots and the 4-4 Chicago Bears. Now, this one is pretty interesting. I mean, New England just got off a loss, but Drake May had a pretty clutch ending before overtime, and obviously they lost it into Tennessee. Chicago, on the other hand, has dropped their last two, and it's not looking good for them. Of course, they had the major loss to Washington on that Hail Mary, and then they just got crushed by Arizona. New England, I mean, do they have an identity? Does Drake May move you in any way against this Bears defense? Probably not. I have no hope that the Patriots are going to win this matchup because Chicago's defense is just superiorly better. I have Chicago winning 24-13. I do think they have some offense. Obviously, Caleb Williams needs to get better, but this is a nice game for them because the Patriots just don't have any pieces ready to compete, and their defense is not as good as Chicago. Chicago has a really good defense, and I think it's going to really show in this matchup. So I have Chicago improving to 5-4 with an 11-point win. The 11th ranked matchup is between the 2-6 Tennessee Titans and the 5-3 Los Angeles Chargers. Now, there's not a lot of bad matchups this week. This is just one that I do not care about. The Chargers are 5-3. They look pretty good, but overall, who cares? I mean, who cares? The Titans, they just got their win against New England, but still, who cares? I don't. I look at this matchup as a Chargers team that is just way better in every facet, and I'm easily just going to call the Chargers winning this game 21-16. The only reason why it's going to be close is because their offense does not scream elite, but their defense is going to hold Tennessee to 16, and that'll just be enough for the Chargers to win this one. All right, now we're in the top 10, and at number 10, we have the 6-2 Minnesota Vikings versus the 2-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. Minnesota, I mean, it was a good win against the Colts, but still, they started really, really slow, and they cannot afford to keep doing that. As for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, that was rough in Philly, and Philly had themselves a field day with stats and highlights. I mean, that team looked like they were just playing around with Jacksonville. The backwards hurdle by Saquon Barkley was insane, and the one-handed catch by Devonta Smith for the touchdown. This one is closer than you actually realize because Jacksonville does have a really good offense. Brian Thomas Jr. is a legit wide receiver when he can get going, and he gets going very often. He did not last week, but then again, they were playing a much better defense, and they're still going to be playing a tougher defense this time around. Minnesota has to get off to a strong start. I mean, I don't really want to see Minnesota playing from behind because Sam Darnold, you have all the pieces, but are you valuable enough to continue to play from below and get back? I don't know. I do think that the Vikings are going to win 28-20 because Jacksonville, their defense is kind of laughable in my eyes. The Vikings overall have just a great offense, and if Sam Darnold can just keep the ship moving forward, it should be fine. And their defense is also really, really good. So I have the Vikings winning. It's going to be close because I do think Jacksonville is going to have some spark on offense, but not enough to win. At the number 9 spot, we have the 6-3 Atlanta Falcons versus the 2-7 New Orleans Saints. Atlanta is starting to run away with this division. I mean, it helps that the Buccaneers wide receiver core is just riddled with injuries. So they're at 4-5. Obviously, Carolina's not going to catch up. And then you have New Orleans. I mean, you start off 2-0, and then you drop 7 in a row, and you fired your head coach. Now, the reason why this matchup is a little bit higher is because the firing of the head coach is going to put a spark in the team. Is it a big enough spark? I have no idea. The thing is, the Falcons offensively, they are so much better than their last 4 years. I mean, Kirk Cousins is the real deal for Atlanta. I don't know if he's a Super Bowl quarterback, but he's putting the Falcons in a very respectable spot. This one is simple. Even though I knew Dallas was going to lose, it's still very impressive how Atlanta how they roll on offense. And their defense isn't too bad either. I have the Falcons winning this game 31-21. Again, it's going to be close because of the firing of the head coach. The team's probably going to be very fired up, but not enough. I mean, you do have some injuries. I mean, Chris Olave has not been playing great, and Shaheed is out. So you don't have a lot of room offensively. I mean, Kamara's been pretty good, but they have nothing with Atlanta, and the Falcons are going to win this one and move to 7-3. The 8th ranked matchup is between the 7-2 Buffalo Bills and the 4-5 Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are starting to fall away. Houston's running away with this division because Tennessee and Jacksonville can't compete, and now the only team that could, the Indianapolis Colts, are sitting at a 4-5 record in which they're facing down a 7-2 Buffalo Bills team. And Buffalo has looked really, really good. Even though they didn't have Amari Cooper, they still came out on top and beat the Miami Dolphins, which was going to be a close game overall. I just didn't expect it to be that competitive, which was crazy to me. The Bills, if they have Amari Cooper back, their offense is really, really solid. The Colts, on the other hand, the quarterback situation just kind of, it's questionable. And of course, you looked good against Minnesota in the first half, but then you fell to them. So that sucks for y'all. And now you're facing down a tougher opponent in Buffalo. The Bills are going to win this game 28-21. I do believe that the running game for Indianapolis is going to be a nice spark, and Joe Flacco is going to do a lot better. But give me the Bills. I mean, they're just so dominant on all fronts right now. The 7th ranked matchup is between the 3-6 New York Jets and the 5-4 Arizona Cardinals. This has a very interesting title to it. The most overrated team in the New York Jets versus the most underrated team in the Arizona Cardinals. The Jets, they finally got their win on Thursday night against Houston. Houston was very riddled with injuries, especially at the wide receiver core, so that's going to suck for them. And then overall, I mean, they looked good offensively. Devontae Adams, he looked really, really good, so that's great. As for Arizona, I mean, this team is shocking. I knew the Bears weren't that tough of a matchup, but still, they did a lot better than I expected them to. The Cardinals, they are legit tenders in the NFC West, but they are going to have to keep winning because San Francisco's getting healthy, and the Los Angeles Rams, they're already healthy, so there's no room for error. They have to keep winning. I believe that the Cardinals are going to win 20-17. I mean, the Jets defense can be on and off, and the Jets offense overall is not that great under Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it feels a little stagnated, and you can blame it on a various amount of things, his age, whatever. They don't use him very well, and that team overall just doesn't look better than they did last year. I mean, last year they had Zach Wilson, but their defense was solid. Their defense isn't solid this year, and their offense is not any better. So the Cardinals are going to win 20-17. I just think that Arizona's offense is a lot stronger. Kyler Murray's having a pretty good year, and Marvin Harrison Jr., he's looked nice so far. So I will go with Arizona to win this game. The 6th best game is between the 2-6 Miami Dolphins and the 4-4 Los Angeles Rams. This one is very interesting. The Dolphins, they have dropped their last two under Tua, but Tua's back, obviously. And the Rams, they got their wide receivers back. This is a nice matchup actually going in. I mean, they're pretty similar teams. Solid quarterback and two great wide receivers. For Miami, it's Hill and Waddle. For the Rams, it's Kupp and Puka. I mean, this is going to be a very, very nice matchup. It's really, really tough to gauge it. The Rams have a really bad defense, but their offense is making up for it. And then on Miami's end, I think they have a better defense, but they haven't shown it so far. This is going to be a really, really close game on Monday night. But I'm going to take the Rams to win 28-27. I think if you're Miami, it's going to be impossible to catch up to Buffalo. Buffalo is just going to steamroll ahead, and there's no way of catching up to them, especially losing to them. That hurt. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I think Miami at this point should be wanting to lose their games so they get a pretty good draft pick, like the Dallas Cowboys, who I've been saying for a little bit needs to be doing that since they're not Super Bowl contenders. So Miami, I wouldn't waste time trying to catch up in this division. I'd say call it and get ready for the offseason. Obviously, the Tua injury just really, really sucked. And now we're in the top 5. The 5th best matchup is between the 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles and the 3-5 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have been an utter disappointment. They have been terrible all year long, and now you just lost Dak Prescott for several weeks. This is going to suck for Dallas. I mean, maybe Cooper Rush does a little bit better. I mean, he's 5-1 as a starter, but you're playing against a Philadelphia team that just got done having a field day against Jacksonville. They almost blew it, but they still had a field day against Jacksonville. And then Saquon Barkley, I mean, his highlights were incredible. Devonta Smith, that one-handed catch. Philadelphia is at full power, and there's no way that they're going to be stopped at this point. The Cowboys' defense has been very, very terrible this year. They have no running game. The reason why I would have given Cooper Rush a chance is if he actually had a running game, but he doesn't have any. That O-line is pretty bad. This is going to be a disaster. Philadelphia is going to win this one 28-10. Dallas, let's wrap it up and let's get ready for the offseason. That's all I'm going to say. The fourth best game is between the 5-4 Denver Broncos and the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. Denver, ouch. I thought that it was going to go to overtime and this would have been a close game that you would have lost, but you got blown out. How? I mean, Baltimore, they had a field day, and I'd be demoralized if I was Denver knowing you just lost the way you did to Baltimore, and look what's next up. As for Kansas City, I mean, I was also very disappointed in the Chiefs. I thought that they would have crushed Tampa Bay, but they didn't, and they ended up winning in overtime. So that D-Hop connection with Patrick Mahomes is looking nice. But still, you got a long ways to go, and I hope Pacheco gets back pretty soon. And by long ways, I mean, like, consistency. You're an 8-0 team, but a lot of people think that you guys are overrated, just saying. So you got to have to prove a lot of people wrong. Their defense is solid. Kansas City's defense has generally been solid. It wasn't a good game against Tampa Bay, but still, it was respectable, and their offense did pretty good. I wonder how Patrick Mahomes is going to do because he did have that semi-injury. Let's see how he looks for this next game. I believe this is going to continue to be an undefeated season for Kansas City, and they're going to beat Denver 24-17. I mean, Bo Nix against that Chiefs defense is going to be rough for him. He struggled against Pittsburgh's defense, and Pittsburgh's defense to me is really, really good. How are you going to do against this defense? I have no idea. I don't think they're going to do well, but it's going to be a close game because Kansas City's offense has not played up to what its standards should be. So, Chiefs in a close one. The third best matchup is between the 4-4 San Francisco 49ers and the 4-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers just got done overachieving in the game they should have lost by a lot because of their wide receiver core situation. I don't know how they were in that game. I mean, that's impressive. Nice job. But you are playing against a 49ers team, which is most likely bringing back Christian McCaffrey. That's pretty scary. Because I know McCaffrey's been out for a while, but still, when he's on the field, he's a difference maker. San Francisco, I think, is going to do a lot better. I mean, their defense gets a week of rest, and I think they'll be all over Baker Mayfield. I believe that without their top wide receivers, they're going to struggle. And San Francisco's offense, if they do get back McCaffrey, is going to be in rhythm, unlike before. I believe that the 49ers are going to win this game 28-16. I believe San Francisco is going to finally start getting on that roll, and the NFC West begins to tighten up just a little bit. So yeah, give me the 49ers. This game was really close to being number one, but I just thought it wasn't ready to be number one compared to what I have at number one. The second best game is between the 6-2 Pittsburgh Steelers and the 7-2 Washington Commanders. Pittsburgh's defense has been solid all year long, and Russell Wilson makes a big difference. And now you're coming off the bye week. You're probably looking at the situation very, very nicely because Russell Wilson, he hasn't been outstanding, but in the past game, he's been far better than Justin Fields, and that is the difference. As for Washington, we're talking about a Washington team that just loves to put up points on that board, and they just got done beating the New York Giants, sweeping that series. This game is going to be really, really close because Pittsburgh's defense is good, but I don't know if they're prepared for what Washington has for them. I think that it's still going to be an extremely tough game on both sides. Washington's defense is going to have a handful with Russell Wilson, but I am going to take Washington to win 31-27. I just think that the Commanders' overall's offense, Jaden Daniels is so good. He has been one of the better players this year. He should be an MVP consideration, but you know, that's my opinion about it. But yes, Commanders go to 8-2. I can't believe I'm saying. And then the best game this week is going to be between the 7-1 Detroit Lions and the 6-3 Houston Texans. Why this matchup over Washington and Pittsburgh? Well, I believe that Houston probably is going to get Nico back. I haven't checked his injury report, but I feel like he's been out long enough. I don't know. I have to check the injury report. I think Houston, if they get Nico back along with Tank Dell, will be very solid because even without Stephon Diggs, those two wide receivers last year were incredible for Houston, and their defense, I believe, is still pretty solid. As for Detroit, we're talking about the most dominant team in the NFL and potentially the best team in the NFL despite the fact that Chiefs are undefeated. The Lions are so good. There's nothing about their game that is flawed. They handled Green Bay very, very well in Lambeau. That's scary. And I believe that their level of dominance continues. Right now, the NFC playoffs is going to move through Detroit. I have no way of thinking otherwise unless Washington just somehow stays on the streak and Detroit gets unlucky a few weeks. But for me, the Lions are going to win this game 35-20. I just believe that Detroit is different. They are built different. They are built for this moment. I have no doubt that the Lions are going to take care of business even if Houston gets that one piece back with Nico. I have no doubts about it. Give me Detroit. And that'll do it for today's episode. If you're wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses, because almost every single time that I'm recording, I see my eyes getting red, and I don't know why. So I'm going to start wearing sunglasses in these videos until, I don't know, I feel like taking it off. I don't know. I just want to have the sunglasses on so that you're not constantly seeing red eye air. So that's why I have those on. And again, I have no idea who is going to win this election. So by the time that Friday rolls around, I'll know. But at this very moment of when I'm recording this, we have no idea who the winner is. But I'm going to keep a very close eye on that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And if you do, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Again, we are 10 subscribers away from 100. So if you haven't subscribed already, but you like the content, please hit that sub button and help me get to 100. And we're going to continue to make these episodes out each and every single week. Anyways, if you haven't followed me on Facebook, X, or Instagram, go ahead and do so. And if you want to leave a like, go ahead. Anyways, that'll do it for me. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.